Hello, my beautiful turtle doves. Welcome to Mean Age Daydream with me, your host, Brian McWilliams. It will be a short show today. I have to get on a plane to Dallas very soon for work. So I didn't want to leave you hanging. So I'm going to bang one out here, talk about the biggest item of the day, which fortunately for me, I got lucky in that Thomas Massie is grilling Pam Bondi today on the Hill. And it's very entertaining. We're going to play that clip and talk about it. But before I do, I want to remind you guys to subscribe and to join our Patreon if you would like to support what we do here. And of course, also to buy Woke Word Wars, my very funny, very fun comedy card game mocking everything that the left does. You get to predict the progressive lunacy. And honestly, it's hard to keep up. We made cards with the most ridiculous stuff on them, and we can't keep up with all the crazy crap that goes on from the left. So check that out. Okay, so let's start things off here by talking about Thomas Massie. And I mean, it's amazing. Obviously, Donald Trump has tried to primary him. Thomas Massie has responded to this by raising so much money just from individual donors all over the country. You know, not even people in his district in Kentucky, all over the place, because you look at what he stands for. I mean, the man is standing up for what's right, for the releasing the Epstein Files, fighting against massive bills, fighting against, idiotic things like the COVID mandates. And Donald Trump responds in kind by calling him a traitor and un-American while propping up a piece of garbage like Lindsey Graham. Warmongering, lisping idiot Lindsey Graham is who Donald Trump tries to support. Thomas Massie is one of the best politicians in the history of the nation. I'll say that hands down. In the history of our nation, one of the finest politicians, one of the most honest people, one of the most forthright people fighting for what would actually make America great again. If you're a MAGA person, that's what it means. Individualism. Fighting against massive amounts of spending that put us all into debt, that saddle our children with debt, that ruin our lifestyle, that put our quote, empire at risk. The latest iteration of this, and I'll play you this video because this is just from today. The latest iteration of Thomas Massie proving himself to be a god among men is him taking Pam Bondi to task. And the reason he did this is that the Epstein Files that they had released were so redacted, right? And they said, oh, this is to protect the victims' names. Well, Thomas is going to blow that up because the files that came out didn't protect the victims. They protected people of privilege within the government, within the celebrity sphere. And it's already been reported because we have the emails now that came out, and we can see this in there, that they protected celebrities. They protected certain people in government and associated with government. So Massie and Ro Khanna, which, it goes to show you can work across the aisle. As ideologically different you can be on different topics, when it comes to certain things, you can work together. And this has been proven with Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, what they're doing with this bill that forced the Epstein Files to be released. They said, unredact the names of the perpetrators. Yeah, you can protect the victims. Why are these names blacked out? Get them out of there. And they did. So let me play this clip from Thomas real quick, where he shares exactly what has been going on. And as I said in the title of this episode, he calls it bigger than Watergate because of the nature of the scandal, the nature of the cover-up, the amount of people that are involved in it, the coordination that had to be there. Okay, well, Thomas, take it away, buddy. Let's let him tell you in his own words. Of course, now I'm trying to play the video, and it's not coming up. Here we go. Wonderful. Oh, good. A commercial. I love it. Well, I'll just have to describe it to you. Don't you love that? I had it literally queued up to play. Let me try this other window. No. I literally had it queued up to play. In the time it took me to get this broadcast live, they reset the video player so that we would have to watch an ad. Screw it. He basically says, there's this guy in there whose name is Wasserman. And this guy, there's no reason for his name to be redacted. He is one of the perpetrators of children and sex trafficking and is tied in with this entire group, as are these other people. And specifically, Massie calls them out and goes, look, this is bigger than Watergate because you're covering it up. Like I said, you're colluding with all these different organizations to pull people's names that should be released. This guy, Wasserman, he was supposedly, we redacted his name because it had to do with taxes. Nope. Nope. Child sex trafficking. That's what he was in there for. And they still redacted his name because he is somebody within the government context that they gave a shit about. It is despicable. And it's even more despicable to see Donald Trump attack a man who's out there fighting. Putting his career, right, as a politician at risk by going against Trump at every turn, which should not be happening, by the way. He should not be forced to go against Donald Trump because Donald Trump ran on fiscal responsibility, on reining on the waste and the fraud and all this, and then he goes and just sprays these bills everywhere while also promising to release the Epstein Files and then be like, oh, there's nothing there. It's a nothing burger. Dan Bongino, all his credibility is thrown out the window. Same thing with Kash Patel. It's just, the fact that it took this amount of fighting to get this out there, and the fact that they lied to us the entire time about what they were doing, why they were doing it, it is bigger than Watergate. I mean, it's God bless Thomas Massie. That's all I can say. God bless Thomas Massie. Okay, let's move on. Like I said, I only have very limited time here. So the Super Bowl went on, and the Super Bowl is, it was boring. It was a boring bowl. The Patriots shouldn't have been there. It was a blowout bowl. But Bad Bunny, of course, dominated headlines, as did the fact that Green Day was playing the Super Bowl. Now, I could give two damns about Bad Bunny, and I do. I don't give a shit about Bad Bunny. He stinks. I don't know. I don't understand the allure of his music. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't get it. And that's not because I'm a 45, 46-year-old white man. I listen to all types of music across every spectrum, including Latin American music. His music stinks. It stinks. I have friends that like it, that are of my age, and I don't understand it. It's the same repetitive beat. Actually, Ryan Long, who's been on the show before, great comedian, very libertarian comedian, anti-woke. He had tweeted out if he was running for dictator of a Latin American country, he would pledge to deliver them a different drum beat, a second drum beat. And I was watching it going, yeah, exactly. I thought it was one long song this idiot played. But the fact is, Jay-Z runs a halftime show, and he's obviously, DEI woke bullshit. So he has not had any white people perform in, I think it's like 5 or 6 years. The choice to put Bad Bunny out there, though, and Green Day, who performed, I think, before the Super Bowl, these are two very outspoken critics of Donald Trump. And from an NFL perspective, I don't know what your game is. I don't know how this helps you. You're trying to lure in younger viewers because they're phasing out, and you think that Green Day, getting your lesbian grandmother out there to whine about shit, is going to help? You think that getting Bad Bunny out there, who, by the way, a lot of the players did not know what his music was. If you read the room, a lot of your younger males that you want as your core audience to watch the NFL in America are over this DEI bullshit. They hate woke nonsense. They're rebelling against it at a record rate. They don't want to see this crap. And Bad Bunny's, like I said, he's awful. It was boring music, and it was in Spanish. I was joking with friends of mine, obviously very left-leaning friends of mine here in Los Angeles at the Super Bowl party, that the funniest thing Bad Bunny could do would just be to sing the songs in English. But you couldn't do that because when you read the lyrics of the songs, they are absolutely pornographic. And I don't care about that, except for the fact that, yes, you're not supposed to do that on television. And yes, was I somebody that had, if my children could speak Spanish, I would have been pretty outraged because the lyrics of some of his songs are filthy dirty. I mean, grinding up, talking about smoking blunts, grinding up on chicks, grabbing whatever. The one song in particular, I was reading the translated lyrics, was not appropriate for what is supposed to be a PG rated program. And, I curse all the time. I'm not some shrinking violet when it comes to these types of things. But similarly, when I have an issue with kids programs putting in content that is not appropriate for minors, you have to appreciate the fact that there are young children that watch the Super Bowl. And a lot of those kids in America are going to have Spanish speaking. So they're going to go, wow, this is some dirty shit. I've got these people in my kids' softball league, again, idiot moms who don't know what the lyrics are, that are putting Bad Bunny songs as their kids' walk-up song for softball. I'm like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? But there could be no bigger fuck you to all of conservative America than the halftime show of the Super Bowl. And I didn't find it offensive in specifically because it was Spanish speaking. I thought that was idiotically stupid, which it was. And they got apparently the record level of tune out compared to previous Super Bowl halftime shows. But what I found offensive was how boring the performance was, how pointless it was, and honestly, how the crowd there could not be less engaged. Because you think about what's going on. And I was, again, arguing with my neighbors about this. They're like, oh, I thought it was a great show. I was like, you're idiots. It was terrible. You've got this guy walking around down in a field amongst sugarcane, because it's all about Puerto Rico. Okay, great. So you're walking around in a bunch of grass, which apparently were people in the grass, which is funny. And of course, the leftists are like, these poor people only got paid $15 an hour to be grass. They got to go to the Super Bowl, shitface. Shut the fuck up. Let them make their choice. Assholes. So he's walking around in a bunch of grass. And there's a bunch of people gyrating around him, men and women, making out and, humping, whatever. All right, fine. The only thing that I thought was interesting was the electrical pole part, which goes to show you, Puerto Rico obviously has a lot of problem with electricity, which a lot of it comes down to corruption. But hey, we need more people that go to trade schools because these hot strippers clearly can't get the job done. But if you're in the crowd, you're watching this performance, all you see is a tiny swath of grass and Bad Bunny walking around like it's watching Pac-Man. How is that fun for you? It's not like they're on the stage running around, you're performing with fireworks and shit where you can actually see what's happening. So you're like, okay, I'm sitting here listening to this shit in Spanish, which I don't speak fluently, listening to, frankly, garbage music, and I can't even see what's happening. How is this a good show? How is this a good time for the people in the crowd? And honestly, for me too. Like I said, if it was something where I can understand the lyrics, I can sing along. And by the way, this is rap. It's not like you can sing along to somebody that's going, you can't fucking sing along to it. What is the point of this shit? Other than to go, fuck you to Donald Trump. That's what was offensive about it. How stupid and pointless it was. I'm not offended by the fact that it was in Spanish, particularly. Shakira sang it, whatever. Get her out there. Get Santana out there. Whatever. You could sing in Spanish, but sing. Make it entertaining. Make it something that connects people. I was telling you, it should be, the Super Bowl performance should be something that connects people, not separates them. And that's what these fucking leftists do every time. They separate people. They cause division intentionally. And then they tell you that you're an asshole or a racist because you don't like the shit that they're trying to make you eat. Fucking ridiculous. All right. Last thing, and then we will wrap this little shorty show up. The UN Women of Australia shared an all-time stupid post. I've never seen something more tone deaf, it was a self-own in every possible way. So they posted, of all journalists killed in 2021, 11% were women. In 2020, this was 6%. On the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists, let us say this out loud. Stop targeting women journalists. Now, you're a fucking idiot if you think this means that women journalists are being targeted. Let me explain to you something. Number one, as everybody else is pointing out here too, and this, responding to this, it's my first thought. Okay, even with that increase to 11%, you're telling me that 89% of journalists killed were men. Men. So what are you talking about? You still are vastly talking about men being in positions of danger that are risking their lives and getting killed. And I would argue that, in fact, the real story here was that, okay, compared to 2021, you have female journalists going to the field more than before, you morons. It's not that they're targeting female. What are you talking? Who's targeting female journalists? If 89% of journalists killed are still men, nobody's targeting female journalists. The story is more female journalists are being promoted or put in these positions where they might be getting into dangerous spots, which are typically reserved for men. But because of your push to even everything out, we're putting women into dangerous reporting positions. So more of them are going to die. You fucking idiots. How do you post something that's stupid? And they still haven't taken it down. Because in their minds, they go, oh, we're just getting trolled by the GOP or the right-wing chuds, screw them. No. They're pointing out how stupid you are. You aren't stupid. Take this post down. You should never have, In what bizarre world? Stop targeting people. Just, do you think this is happening? All right, do you think there's ninja assassins? Is the Foot Clan from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles going out there and like Shredder's telling his Foot Clan, hey, we got to target female journalists out there. They're a real problem. No. Just, there's nothing. I said this before. There's no hill too stupid for the left to die on. There is no hill too stupid. And they never back down from it. They will be like, nope, we built this city on rock and roll, and we're going to keep playing this same tired, idiotic song that nobody likes, that nobody listens to, and that is boring at halftime. See how I tied that all together? Okay. Guys, I got to go. Apologies. I have too much to do before I get on this plane. And I'll come back, I promise, with I'll do an hour-long episode next week. It's been a long time since I did an hour-long. I promise you I will do an hour-long episode next week to make up for it. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining me. Me and the Lions of Liberty Network here on Mean Age Daydream. Don't forget, keep those electric eyes on me, babe, and keep that ray gun to my head. I will talk to you later. Wish me luck in Dallas. Toodle-oo.